Previously on Chosen Ones, Theo brings Titus a gift after their fight earlier in the day. Peter does another weekly check-in, giving Brandy a new substance called God's Brandy after he failed. He then informs the group of a strange sickness called the Black Moss that only affects Chosen Ones and Sparks. Peter talks to Avayath, and the Asmer informs him of the reason he wants to be a Chosen One. When they go to sleep for the evening, Theo is called outside by a strange creature, running back to the cabin and staying up most of the night with Brandy, fearful of its return.
So, it is the very next morning after you're running with that strange creature the night before. Wynn has knocked on your door to greet you all and continue your training with him for the week. So you have just received that knock on the door.
So, positions. Where were Theo and Brandy located? Like when Shui and Avayath woke up?
Theo was on the top bunk on his bed, cuddled up in a blanket, sitting up and looking traumatized.
Brandy was up against the door.
Shui gets up and he yawns. I don't know. I love it. But he looks over the edge of the bed. Well, I guess he doesn't. Okay. He can see Theo like right across from him. He's like, "Good morning, Theo. Wait, did you have a nightmare?"
Theo like does a little flinch. Both at the door and at Shui, and he like looks over and he's like, you really didn't wake up from any of that?
From any of what? He says, and he like tilts his head like, what are you talking about?
Theo looks out the window.
It's a bright, sunny day.
Shui looks to where Theo's looking, and there's Brandy over there by that window. Kind of, sort of.
No, Brandy's against the door.
I'm saying, like, is the window by the door, or is it like?
No, the windows are next to your bunk beds, so it's bunk beds, windows, and then the doors are opposite on the walls.
Okay. Shui kind of gets ready to get down, and he's like, "Oh, did Brandy leave already?" And then looks at Brandy at the door. Shui's like, "Wait, Brandy? You had a Brandy?" Looks at Theo with confusion.
Well, it was just... That really happened, right? Didn't it, Brandy?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that wasn't no hallucination, especially if both of us saw it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's just don't be too worried, I guess, but there was something outside last night that was unpleasant.
Oh, like a bear?
Something like that.
Well, I can try to look it up, see if there's anything on it.
Was it a tiger? I've never seen a tiger before.
No, not a tiger. There aren't tigers around here. It was something strange. I'll try to look it up.
Well, I didn't hear a thing. Maybe you should consider getting earplugs or something.
I didn't hear anything either.
Oh, I didn't just hear it.
You didn't just hear it? Did it shake you awake or something?
No. I met it outside. I don't know why I went out, really. I mean, logically I probably shouldn't have, but Brandy was on on lookout. And then I was like, where did he go? And then I went outside for some reason in my pajamas. I guess I couldn't wait. And then it was out in the dark and it was scary. It has big antlers.
Shui and Avayath, I want you to roll wisdom saves.
Oh.
No,
You just fucked us over, Theo.
I got a fucking 3. I got a 3 plus 1, 4.
I got an 8 plus 7 for 15.
You, Shui, when Theo is describing this, and it sounds like a bear. It just sounds like he's talking about a bear to you. Theo's just like, yeah, it was big and hairy, and it had these like fangs, and paws, and it just sounds exactly like he's describing a bear.
I knew it was a bear!
And to you, Avayath, it also sounds like he's talking about a bear, but for a second you thought he said that it had antlers for some reason.
Okay, so you're like, I knew it was a bear, and Theo just kind of looks at you like, are you stupid? Like, he has like a confused... He has like a confused look, and he's like, no, Shui, I guess maybe you didn't grow up with bears, but bears don't have antlers.
And it sounded like Theo said bears don't have fur to you.
So,
Oh, God.
Shui's like, I'm pretty sure they do.
No, I can get a picture for you. But he like starts to climb out of his bunk at this point, and he's like, "It's fine. It's probably." And I mean, just keep your eye out. And don't go outside at night, maybe.
Are you sure it's fine? Should we not tell the others?
Theo's like, I mean, definitely I want to bring it up, but we can get ready and go to the meeting now. Yeah.
I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. It probably just looks strange from a distance. I'm sure if you got a closer look, it's nothing.
I did get a closer look. I got a very close look, actually.
Oh?
Yeah. I said I met it outside. And then it was at the window. And then it touched the window and the stuff went away from it.
Avayath looks very confused, and he's like, that is some strange behavior coming from a wild animal.
I don't know if it was a wild animal. Oh, I'll look it up. Maybe there's a fine explanation somewhere. It talked though, so that's, but I guess it repeated what we said.
Avayath still thinks it's like a bear with antlers, so he's just looking like, dude, are you crazy?
In his mind, Shui's like, bears can talk?
Brandy, I'm not crazy, right? This all sounds accurate.
No, you're not crazy.
Right. Okay, yeah. But it all sounds accurate, right?
Yeah, it does sound pretty accurate. It's hard to say what it was, but yeah. I don't know what the fuck kind of bears these folks have ever seen, but last I checked, bears don't look like that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
He seems like he's actually trying to remember what a bear looks like. He's like, right? They don't look like that, right? I'm not nuts, right? They don't look like that.
Avayath just kind of looks to Shui, and like, if Shui looks at him back, he's gonna shrug. Like,
Yeah,
oh.
Shui does look at him.
Yeah.
They both shrug at each other.
Oh yeah, yes.
So you guys continue to get ready while you're talking about this and gathering your things, and eventually you go out towards the training grounds that you went to yesterday. Everyone is there that was there before except the mentors and Arthur. The medic is also still there. And Wynn kind of looks at you all and smiles and is just like, all right, we're going to continue our training then for the week.
Great.
Okay, and so you can each choose one stat to determine how your combat training goes for this week, and what you choose will determine how you go about your training and what you utilize in your fights. So choose what you think makes the most sense for your PC.
I think Theo would go Dex because he'd probably try to do shooty.
Intelligence, baby. Haha. No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh,
Absolutely not intelligence.
Ooh. Okay, so Theo got a 23.
Theo did really well this week.
I'm gonna do Dex as well, more so for the acrobatics part of it. 20, not natural 20.
Avayath rolled for strength.
Oh my god! The short boys did really good, but
Probably do. Strength also. I don't think Brandy would be trying to cast a whole ton of spells.
Dex boys, strength boys.
14.
So not bad.
Not terrible.
I'm gonna roll for the NPCs real fast, see how they did. Essence, how are you gonna do here this week? Okay, she got a 15.
And Draga
a 22.
Okay.
The chosen one.
The chosen one.
If that's the case, it's Theo, because Theo got 23.
Oh, poor Riddle really got an 8.
And Titus.
Oh, I don't think your stat's gonna help that. Oh, no. Titus got a 4.
Ooh.
Oh no.
So, during your fights for the week, Theo blows it out of the water. Theo does fucking fantastic. He goes against everyone, and just through his maneuvering and just his quick reactions, he takes down every single opponent that he has this week.
Heck yeah, Theo.
The closest that he got to losing was with Draga, because she would make her rocks and hands, and it made him lose his footing a few times, and she did land a couple blows, but it was a pretty tight match.
I could cry. I'm so proud of him. This is the best he's ever gonna do.
Next up was Shui in terms of who won the most of their fights. He did, again, pretty good. Not as good as Draga and Theo did, but above average for sure. And he did not fight against Essence again. None of you fought against the people that you fought for your first training. You just did against those you hadn't fought against before. I would say he probably only, again, lost to Draga with all the numbers the other NPCs rolled. And then next up is Essence, who did pretty good. Not horrible. Pretty middle of the road. Did not seem particularly really in it the rest of the week. She seemed kind of disinterested whenever she fought with other people. Still disappointed in herself, it seems, when she lost, but seems very lost in thought after your first training session. Brandy, again, you do about the same as Essence, kind of middling. Your heart doesn't really seem to be in it, but you're not necessarily throwing fights. I don't know. Maybe you are. Are you throwing your fights?
I would literally say, after being like everyone raising their hands at Brandy to train him, he'd be like, I don't want that kind of attention, and would intentionally go out of his way to not do great.
Actually, oh wait, I forgot. I have a little note here. I need you to roll a wisdom save, Brandy.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh no. It's the gods Brandy.
14.
14? No, that does not pass. So I need you to roll another strength saving, or not a strength saving, no, I need you to roll another strength check.
Okay. 12.
12? Okay. So your score now becomes 26.
Added together.
You start off the week trying to kind of pull back and not go very hard, but that you do one fight against Essence, and you do not hold back.
Why
at
are
all
you
when
like
you go
this?
against
Don't
her.
make me go against Essence and beat her ass. God.
But anyway, yeah. You go against Essence, and you don't really seem like it doesn't seem like you're doing it out of malicious intent. It just seems like you just don't miss when you're fighting against her, and you have a little bit extra punch than you had for your previous fights for the week. And she has about, again, the same reaction that she's had for her other fights. Disappointment that she lost, but kind of disinterest in general in the fights.
Hit or miss, I guess you never miss, huh?
What?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Riddle does shit. Titus does shit. Avayath, I'm sorry, you also do shit.
Avayath does terrible.
Avayath did not do as bad as Titus. Titus, I'm pretty he froze up a lot during his fights. After that first fight with Theo, he does not seem to have any interest in continuing to fight, but is kind of just doing it because he's told to. Avayath, I don't know what fucking is wrong with you this week, but you just whip it. Like,
I've just been trying to think, like, why would he fuck up so bad? I don't know. He just suddenly gave up on that hero dream the next day.
Oh god, my ankle, I cramped it. Fuck.
Did he not pray to his god this morning?
I guess not. His god's just like, fuck Avayath, and he's just a noodle guy under that armor now.
Avayath, this week he's like pretending to also be like training other people, so he lets them win because of that.
I love that. That's really cute.
I would say that it's not necessarily a situation of you aren't trying and you aren't doing a good job. It's just a situation of other people seem to have familiarized themselves with your fighting style from that first fight, and they know that they cannot let you get the first hit, and so everyone is just very prepared.
Everyone
when they
fireballs
go
you immediately. They're like, no.
So it's more of a situation of they saw that fight and they knew what was going to happen going in. So all the fights that you lost were because everyone got the first hit on you except for Titus, which is in character for him. So, okay, so that is how your training for the week goes. And at the end of your training, Wynn kind of just does a little like, good job, guys. That was a great week of training. You all made a lot of improvement.
I did better than expected, I guess.
You did great, Theo.
Thank you. You did too, Shui.
He kind of blushes a tiny little bit. He's like, yeah, but, and then he kind of looks around and he's like, I wish Master Peter could see it.
I'm sure he'll at least hear about your accomplishments.
He nods, responds to Theo, and then he runs over to Avayath, and he's like, Yaya, what happened?
I wish I knew the answer to that.
You're so slow. Everybody zoomed past you like, whoosh.
I guess I'm just not on my game this week.
Yeah, or, well, maybe I'm just really good.
Well, that too, definitely.
He, does a little jump. He's, glad that Avayath complimented him.
Are you sure you didn't just let me win? Yes, Avayath.
He looks shocked, like appalled at the suggestion, because like if that's the case, then
No, I wouldn't dream of it. That wouldn't be an honorable way to fight.
Right.
now she's self-conscious. He's like, wait, did you let me
You
win?
better not have fucking let him win after you tore my ass apart.
You all told me not to do push-ups in between matches, and I think you might have been right. I can barely lift my own armor right now.
Yeah, man, doing like fucking 500 push-ups before a match kind of will weaken your muscles a bit.
But I'm sure you'll get used to everyone's reaction time to you soon.
I'll do a bit of research on how to exercise properly.
I don't think that's the problem, but do what you think you need to do.
He nods.
All right, well, everyone. So that is the end of your training with me for this little initial trial period, I guess. So you guys have 2 weeks to decide for your final assessment. You can pick anyone that you want to fight in front of the mentors again.
Pick?
You get to pick. Pick who you think will highlight your abilities.
Oh. Theo looks around nervously at everyone there, like trying to think, like, well, I don't know if...
Shui is looking around at everyone, kind of figuring out who he could fight that would impress Peter. So so his gaze kind of lingers on Avayath and flicks to Essence before he like shakes his head like, oh my god, that's a stupid idea.
Well, now suddenly beating Avayath is not so impressive because he's been doing bad all week.
Well, Peter wasn't there to witness that.
I guess so.
Wynn just kind of smiles at your group and at everyone else and is just like, all right, so during these 2 weeks, you should use any free time you have to improve what's important to you, as the final test results will likely determine which of the 5 mentors will pick you for training.
Theo sweats more.
Anxiety. Cool.
So your next training, I believe one of your groups already trained with Peter, so that group will be training with Estel now, and the other group will be training with Peter. And he looks over and kind of, you see his smile strain a little bit, and he's like, Essence, I think you have to redo your training. I was told you were kicked out last time. And she looks over at him, and you see for the first time this week, she smiles.
She's redoing her training with Peter?
Yes.
Oh my fucking god, okay.
Well, we had Draga with us for some reason, so I guess it,
But we like Draga, we don't like Essence. Shui sweats as he's like looking at Essence.
She kind of looks at you and her smile drops again.
His eyes dart away. He like fucking full body turns.
Full swivel.
Yeah. He's like, I pretend I do not see it.
Avayath like looks for a Shui turn to and is like trying to see like what's over there. What the hell?
Okay, well, I think you guys have the rest of the day. You can go do what you want.
Okay, Theo, actually, he's gonna, like, raise his hand, and he'd be like, do you think Estel would mind if I go to the library?
If you completed your training, you should be okay. If you guys met right?
Yeah.
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 Okay, then you should be good as long as he's seen you before.
Right, okay. He nods, and he looks over to the other three of the party. He's like, I'm gonna go do some research, I think.
Do you mind if I come with you?
Oh, sure.
All right. Question. What if we beat the shit out of
No? Why? Wow.
No, I mean we did before, and I'm wondering if will hold a grudge against us. I'm not suggesting doing that now.
It sounded like that's what you were suggesting.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely sounded like you wanted to do that right now.
No, I wouldn't dream of that.
Roll a deception. No, I'm just kidding.
They said it would be fine.
Okay, well that's good.
If not, well, I'm sure we can talk it out.
I sure hope so.
He, like, rubs the back of his neck, and he's like, see you, Brandy.
Oh, alright. Sounds good.
Shui runs up to Brandy, and he's like, Brandy, hey Brandy,
Yeah.
do you think you could help me train?
Sure, if you want. I don't know how much I could really offer, but sure.
He smiles at Brandy, and he's just like, every little bit helps.
Yeah, you did pretty good against your fight against Essence there at the end.
Yeah, he agrees, and he's like, he takes a breath, and he's like, I think I want to challenge her again for a rematch.
Yeah, why is that?
If I win against her, then maybe Master Peter will pick me.
I would be careful about challenging her too much.
I also wouldn't put too much stock in getting Peter. He's only allowed one trainee.
Why?
He's only allowed one.
That's why it has to be me.
I mean, I can help you train with that, but, you know, it doesn't help to hone your social skills, too. Like, what's your pitch? Like, if it's, okay, here, say I'm gonna use massive many faces to look like Peter. Say I'm Peter.
Oh my god.
Alright.
Shui is shocked.
When you do that, Win jumps back. Like, you visibly see him jump backwards.
You see Shui jump backwards too. He like jumps backwards and he stands like rimrod straight.
Alright, hold on. What's his voice? So, I'm Peter. And he'll summon his sword and put it in the ground like Peter does. No.
Win's trying desperately not to laugh. You see his face is like contorting and he's like...
Why should I, Peter, the edgiest motherfucker here, teach you, Shui, the little ball of sunshine? I eat nails for breakfast.
Shui looks at the ground for a while. He was finding it kind of hard to meet Peter's eyes, you know, even though, you know, Brandy, you know, anyway. But Shui kind of looks up at him and kind of steels himself. And he's just like, Theo told me that the reason you didn't vote for me was because you didn't have anything to teach me, but I don't think that's true. You're the only one here with an elven sword like me, so there must be something you can teach me. And he kind of trails off after that a little bit, and he's like, so I'm not going to give up. I will get you to acknowledge me, even if you think Yaya is better than me.
We'll see about that, kid.
Shui, I want you to roll a perception check.
Oh my god. Oh, he didn't do too bad. Oh wow, he did really good. 15 plus 4.
19.
19. You did that math quickly.
Yep.
You see, kind of coming up in the distance, you see Peter walking towards the field.
No! he fucking notices that, and then he turns beet fucking red. And he's just hoping that Peter didn't really hear that.
And then, Brandy, you hear from behind you as he gets closer. What are you doing?
Drops it immediately as he jumps.
Nothing. I was helping Shui with something.
Wynn was in the middle still of laughing, and when he sees Peter, he's like,
Chokes on his own spit.
and just starts coughing. And Peter just, with expressionless, his eyes is going between everyone, and he's just like, are you doing some kind of training? What?
Yeah, actually, that's not far off. We are kind of training right now.
I see. Interesting use of disguise self. And he looks towards Wynn and is just like, I wanted to go for a walk. I'm supposed to come to get you. And Wynn nods and is like, yeah, okay, I'm almost done. Sorry for taking too long.
Shui is standing at attention. He's not moving at all.
Brandy fucking nudges him and gestures to Peter
say what you were just fucking saying to me.
Say it.
Do it.
I can't. Brandy.
Do it. Don't be a fucking coward. Do it.
What are you whispering about?
Shui has something he wants to tell you. I push Shui forward.
He looks. Oh, he's shaking a lot, and his face is still red.
Are you okay?
He is going to repeat what he told P. Tandy. Beater. Beater?
I do not like Beater as the name.
Beater.
What he told Brandy. Theo told me that the reason you didn't vote for me was because you had nothing to teach me. But I don't think that's true. You're the only one here with an elven sword like mine, so there must be something you can teach me, he says, and he is quiet for a bit, then he realizes he said something else. And he's like, he speaks back up quickly, realizing he forgot, something. He's like, so I'm not gonna give up. I will get you to notice me, even if you think Yaya is better than me, he says. And then he bows very, very, very deeply.
Stop that.
And then runs away.
Oh.
Peter's like, who the fuck is Yaya? And then that's it.
Yeah, Peter's kind of just watching him run away with his head cocked a little bit. And he mutters, that's an odd one.
He's got a good heart.
He seems to really want you to train him. And Peter just kind of frowns at that and glances back over to Wynn. He's like, come on, let's go. And Wynn's like, yeah, I'm coming. Go off, do your own thing, yeah. And he starts walking with Peter, and he puts an arm on Peter as they start walking off.
Boyfriends.
Peter is 15 years older than Wynn.
I didn't know that. Never mind. Brandy, being left alone, walks off somewhere in a direction. Probably towards the camp.
Okay, so we will skip over to Avayath and Theo then.
So I want, as they're on the way there, Theo kind of, looks up to Avayath and is like, what are you gonna look up?
Exercise books.
Oh, right. I really don't think that's, a problem for you.
Is it not?
I don't... He's, trying not to say, have you looked in the mirror?
Have you looked in the mirror? You can't fit in it. Okay, sorry.
You have to stand 20 feet back. But yeah, Theo's like, I don't think that's the issue. I'm certain that you know how to work out, Avayath. I mean, look at you.
Well, I suppose it's just lately I don't feel like I've been doing my best.
I mean, it's all very different, being in this place. It's normal to have an adjustment period.
Perhaps it's a battle strategy problem.
You know what? Yeah, maybe look up strategy, because if you noticed in the fights, it seems like everyone, maybe their strategy was to get the hit on you first, and I mean, that was my strategy.
Alright then, I'll try that.
He nods, and he's like, right. He's like, I hope I don't have to fight Avayath again. Like, in his brain.
It's like, that was a fucking fluke, I'll die.
Yeah, literally, yeah. He's like, it was a fluke. They were all flukes. And they go to the library.
So what are you guys doing in the library?
Battle strategy. I need research on battle strategy.
It's pretty easy for you to find the section you're looking for. I want you to roll an intelligence check to see if you find anything useful.
He's not. Yep, a 5.
Okay, so you're looking for strategy-based books, and all the ones that you find are pretty hefty reads. They're very hard for you to understand. They seem to be geared more towards high spellcasters rather than like a physical sort of attack, which is what you more so do. So you try and retain some of this information because you're like, well, I cast some spells too, and so I can like learn from this. But it's so much gibberish to you that you don't really gain much reading these books.
Avayath, are you having trouble?
I'm not sure if these books are in English.
You mean common? D&D speak.
That's your first problem.
But okay, yeah, he'll look over it and it's like, no, they're definitely in common. Is there something wrong?
I can't understand a word.
Oh, I could try to help if you need that.
Okay, let's see. I suppose this passage applies to me more so?
He'll attempt to help Avayath glean any knowledge.
With Theo's help, you can roll again, Avayath.
11.
So Theo does help you a bit. He makes things a little bit more clear, and what he's made abundantly clear is that this book is not one that's written for you.
I like to imagine, like, he just handed over a book, like, how to be a sorcerer, and Theo's like, no, this one does not apply to you.
You know, Avayath, maybe you should look at things that are for you. I don't think this spellcasting, I mean, you do spells, but I don't think this is, I mean, I guess you could learn a little bit from it, and he'll, like, leaf through things.
Yeah, so Theo does help you kind of get a little bit of a better grasp on it. It's still pretty surface level, but you can at least kind of, like, understand what he's talking about.
Avayath's tiny brain gathers one thing from this whole session of reading.
The one thing is, I'm not a sorcerer.
I'm not a sorcerer, huh?
Does that make sense, Avayath?
I suppose so. I don't grab out all these little materials to do my spells. I just do them.
Maybe there's another book in here for you.
Theo, what were you looking for?
He had a few things. He might be in there all day because he did have a few things. He wanted to look up, first of all, the creature.
Okay, you can just give me your list of everything so I know off the bat.
He wanted to look up the creature. He wanted to look up any information on perhaps enchanted tattoos. And then he also wanted to look up any information on God's liquor or God's brandy.
So we'll group the first and the second one together as and like I'll say a history check for those two. And then the last one, God's Liquor, will do a religion check instead.
History, 14.
Okay, so with a 14, you're kind of looking around. You're trying to find anything that looks like this description of this creature that you found, or that you saw. And you find some books looking through the library that kind of sound similar, but not what you saw. And they're described as monstrosities in these books. There isn't any information on what you saw exactly, though. So there's nothing about a creature covered in, like, some black substance with wide eyes and antlers that repeats things back. There's no information on that necessarily. But you would know that like monstrosities are rare. They aren't very understood. They're one of like probably the most feared things in terms of just that lack of understanding. There hasn't been a lot of research yet in the world on them. And there is like a fundamental lack of knowledge just on how they operate, where they come from, what exactly they are. Whereas things like fiends and fae and undead, there is like a general knowledge of like, we kind of know where these things come from. Monstrosities seem to be their own thing.
So he does that, and he's like a little disappointed that he didn't find anything solid.
And then the other thing that you asked about was the markings.
Yeah, enchanted tattoos basically is what he's looking for.
You do find, looking up some different things about markings, there are some people who have enchanted ink that they use on themselves to kind of like enhance their abilities or like to circulate blood flow or enhance healing or things like that. There are certain people who seem to specialize in that. You don't see anything that really looks like what Brandy had. Most of these depictions of like enchanted ink seem to be pretty contained. They appear very colorful in terms of the inks that are used. There are a few that are black like Brandy's that are enchanted, but they seem to be something that's more of like, I would say less of an enchantment and more of something that's akin to restraint.
And Theo remembers, he recalls when Brandy said, I don't want to be trapped again, when he remembered that the symbol in Peter's little room was an entrapment seal thing. And Brandy was like, I don't want that again. Theo took note of that. So now he's like,
I would also note that tattoos of this nature appear to be something that is more cultural to certain regions of Varun. So it seems to be something that is practiced particularly in Winaria.
Okay. Can he look up if prisoners of Winaria have tattoos like this?
Roll a history check again for further information.
That one.
You do not find anything trying to essentially track back from where you started, where it's like, okay, I know the general idea of like what black ink means in these enchantments. Trying to go backwards from there in terms of its origins and going back to Winaria, you can't locate anything about prisoners of any kind.
I also meant to mention, was there anything in the tattoo region about like if they ever glow?
It does not appear that is the case with these tattoos. Their initial application does involve magical use, but in terms of what they do, it seems to be something that is constant. It's not something that's activated once they are put into the skin. It appears to be something that is constantly active. So there is no like glowing or anything like that.
So that's that. Now he wants to look up, as he like pouts and he's like, damn, I really wanted to see if I could find more information. But now he is trying to look up God's liquor and God's brandy.
Okay, so yeah, roll religion.
12.
So looking up God's liquor, you got the general information that Peter told you before, which is it is something that is meant to cleanse the body. It is something for minor illnesses, minor inconveniences, aches, pains, that kind of thing. It's kind of like a catch-all. So if someone has something that people don't understand, they tend to use this. It is very difficult to get. It is extremely difficult to get, and it does involve extracting tears from the goddess Elther, who is a goddess that resides out on the waters, which are considered extremely dangerous to go out into the ocean. So there's a lot of money in trying to get these tears from her.
And Theo just has this in his things. He starts sweating. He's like, I hope nobody wants to rob me.
It's very expensive, very hard to get a hold of, and also is considered something highly sought after because of its healing properties. God's brandy, however, is a version of that, but something that is a lot more powerful, essentially. So it also is infused with the tears of a god. This one is the gloomy knight Verada, who is found in the same area as Elther, except on the shoreline. And much easier to get, much stronger and more potent, but the side effects are known to be much worse, so people usually turn to Elthers first because of that. So it's something that's still very sought after. It does have, when you're looking it up, it notes that it is an addictive substance, which is why people usually seek God's liquor before God's brandy.
Theo is infinitely more worried. He sweats a little. He takes note of all that. And then he puts that book away. He kind of wants to... Is Estel around?
You know where her office is. You don't see her around, but you know her office is on the second floor.
Okay. He's going to take the book on tattoos, and he's going to go up to her office and knock.
Okay. You hear some shuffling on the other side, and you hear two voices actually coming out of her office. And she kind of whispers for a moment and is like, shh, quiet. And she goes up to the door, and you see her eyes kind of peek out as she opens the door and looks through and looks down at you, and it's just like, Theo, did you need something?
Sorry if I interrupted anything. I was just wondering if I was permitted to check books out?
Books are to remain in the library.
Right. Is there anything to write information down?
There are plenty of papers and books on the desks if you would like to take one.
Yes, I would like to do that. Thank you.
Of course. Is that all?
He nods, and he's like, yes, that was it. Sorry for, interrupting. Yes, have a nice day.
You as well.
And she closes the door.
He, his awkward smile kind of he clenches it a little as the door is now closed, because he's like, God, why?
You can roll a perception check, actually.
Okay. 12.
So you couldn't make out what was being said through the door, but you did very clearly hear the other person in the room sounded like Arthur.
Right, okay. It's probably has something to do with general leader stuff. So he doesn't want to get in any trouble, so he's just kind of slowly walks away carefully. He doesn't want to disturb them again, so he's quiet about it.
I like to imagine as soon as Theo leaves, Avayath is outside there and not quiet at all, ruining Theo's cover.
It's like, oh, Avayath, you got everything you needed?
Oh, yes. Did you tell them about the weird bear with antlers?
No, I guess I probably should have, huh? But they seem busy. I don't want to bother them right now. I guess I could try to find someone else who doesn't seem as busy.
You hear scampering around the corner.
And I put this one here, this one goes here, this one goes here.
Hello?
I'm sorry. Force of habit.
Good afternoon. Are you doing well?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, good. You're familiar with the books here.
Oh yes, I'm organizing them right now.
Yeah, have you read a lot of them?
Some of them, the ones that I know how to read.
Oh, right. Well actually, since you just reminded me, I don't know if, maybe you would know, about a creature around here. Kinda looks...
A creature?
It looks, humanoid, I guess, with antlers.
Sounds like a bear.
Oh, no, definitely not a bear.
No, that sounds like a bear.
Really? Because you described a bear earlier, with the fur and the claws and everything.
I guess it might have had fur and claws. I think it... did it have... I don't remember. I mostly was focused on the antlers.
Theo, I want you to roll a wisdom check. Or wisdom save, sorry.
21.
21. Okay, you're good. Yep, it's still... You're convinced of what you saw.
Good. He's like, no, I was mostly focused on the antlers and the silhouette and, the fact that it spoke to me.
Avayath, roll a wisdom save.
Wisdom save. He's good at wisdom saves. He's just been getting bad rolls today. 15.
It still sounds like Theo is describing a bear with antlers.
I don't think he'd have anything to comment on that. He'd just be like, yeah, it's weird, a talking bear.
I mean, Brandy saw it and confirmed he saw, like, I'm not crazy or anything. I mean, it's definitely not a bear. Definitely not.
Sounds like a bear.
I'll leave you to your work. Thank you anyway.
Of course.
He'll nod and sort of go to. He'll go to how he mentioned to Estel he wanted to write some things down. He'll take notes from the tattoo book.
Was there anything you guys wanted to do before you went to bed for the day?
How late is it as we're finishing up the library?
I would say with all the research you did, up to Avayath if you wanted to stay the whole time, but you probably stayed up until the evening, like right past dinner.
Damn. Theo's hungry. He go get food.
When Shui ran away, he probably returned back to the cabin, but he didn't go inside. He's probably doing, like, if somebody came up and was going back, they'd see him, like, he's probably, like, doing handstands, basically training. That's kind of what he does. He only does his, like, flips and stuff. So he's, like, doing handstands and whatnot, balancing and stuff. And he'd be doing that for a while. But when people start coming back, he's going to suggest they go eat or get a snack or something.
Okay, so we can say you guys meet up to eat.
Brandy found a tree under and read poetry the whole day.
Aww.
So, would you say Theo comes back and they all can...
Yeah, they're all probably eating food. I would note just with the NPCs, it seems like Riddle, Draga, and Titus are eating together. Essence is not here.
Are Draga and Riddle holding hands?
No, they seem to be having a some kind of eating contest.
A lover's quarrel, of course.
Titus appears to be monitoring them.
The third wheel.
Because every now and again, Draga chokes.
Tries to eat an entire watermelon in one bite.
So we eat our dinner. Theo will ask, well, how were your guys' evenings?
Shui turns red. He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, you don't have to talk about it, but if you wanted someone to talk to about something that bothers you, I'm good for that too.
He looks at Theo for a bit, opens his mouth, and then takes a bite out of his food.
No, yeah, that's fine. You don't have to.
Just kind of read the rest of the day, that's all.
Your poetry books, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm gonna need a new one pretty soon.
Oh, going through them fast.
A little bit. What about y'all?
Avayath, you did the research that you wanted, right? You got information?
I suppose. Wasn't quite what I was looking for, but found something.
I hope I helped, at least.
Certainly. I learned more about spellcasters, so I can better fight spellcasters specifically.
Brandy sweats.
Right, of course. See, you gleaned information after all.
I would note as you guys are talking that Estel at one point walks with Arthur to the food. They both grab both a little bit of bread essentially and something to drink, and then they immediately start heading back to the library. They don't seem like they stopped talking the whole time they're going.
What are they talking about?
You can try and roll a perception check.
Yeehaw. 8!
You don't hear anything.
Yeah, I figured.
They seemed bothered about something.
Bothered?
They've been in a meeting for quite a long time.
Maybe they're talking about who they're gonna train.
I suppose so, but that would be a long conversation about who to train.
Could be all about a lot of things, really. It feels like there's a lot they're not telling us.
Yeah, I seemed to have interrupted them earlier. I'm sure it's for the best, whatever it is.
Shui kind of frowns a little bit. I still feel really bad about what happened to Miss Merlin.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
What's everyone's passive perceptions, just so I know?
Bad.
14.
12.
14.
Bad, same with mine. Passive perception 13.
So Theo and Shui would just see Wynn slinking along the side of the cooking tent, essentially, before he slips inside.
Huh.
Followed by Libris walking around looking back and forth like she's trying to find something.
Why is everybody being weird?
That's just what I was thinking, Shui.
This whole place is just fucking weird.
Yeah, a bit weird.
There is like a couple seconds of like awkward silence that you guys sit there for before the cooking tent. You just see a little eruption of fire kind of come out of the top, and you just hear Wynn go, "Oh,
oh, gosh."
Avayath grabs out his weapons and runs over, assuming the worst.
Okay. Wynn kind of runs out and opens it, just like, and there's just like smoke kind of coming out, and you just hear someone inside going, "It doesn't help when you are here. Get out! I'm trying to cook."
Oh, just cooking.
And Wynn's just like coughing. It's just like,
Is everything all right in there?
yeah. I was just checking to make sure everything's good. She's good. She's doing a great job.
All right. He puts his sword and shield away and walks back.
So, about the things Theo did research on, he wanted to talk to Brandy about it, but not, like, in front of other people. You didn't want to...
Expose him.
Yeah. After he tried to bring it up with Peter and Brandy was like, please fucking don't, Theo was like, let me just... I want to talk to him about it, but not right in front of people.
Yeah. So you guys kind of finish up your meals after Wynn was kind of like kicked out of the tent with all the smoke blowing behind him. Libris caught view of him and rushed up to him and like grabbed his ear and was like, "There you are!" And he's like, "Ow, ow, ow! You need to stop wandering off. I still gave you a job for a reason." And he's just like, "Yeah, well, why doesn't she do it then?" And he just keeps getting dragged off by her.
I love Wynn so much.
The other NPCs kind of start to fade off. Peter does not ever come to eat.
Peter doesn't eat.
He's too cool to eat.
Did Brandy eat?
He did eat. He ate potatoes and bread.
Good. Theo makes sure he does.
And then you guys can start heading back to the cabin for the night.
I actually, had something to talk to you about, Brandy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, probably, not with the others, so if we just let them go ahead.
Cocks head curiously, but like nods, and will like slow his pace to let the others go ahead.
Would Avayath have overheard this, or...?
You can roll a perception check.
Yeah, I don't mind if you do.
22, okay.
Jesus.
Yeah, he does.
Fucking
He's
hell.
very noticing.
Yeah. So Avayath is like, perhaps you two should go inside while Shui and I wait outside this time, in case the bear comes back around.
Huh? What? Oh. Yeah, I'd like to see the bear.
I don't know if you want to see this one.
Shares a look at Avayath again and shrugs.
Avayath shrugs and is like, it's just a bear. I'm sure it's something I can handle.
I mean, I'm sure you could, but I don't trust at the same time, because we don't know anything about it.
As you guys are kind of talking, you see Draga was kind of sticking behind, cleaning up her table a little bit, and you see her little goblin ears kind of perk up, and she looks over towards your table and just like, "Bear? You saw a bear?"
No, a creature. It's humanoid.
Essence said she saw a bear.
Essence. Okay.
There's a bear problem.
He looks up to Brandy. He's like, well, then we should visit her.
Scowls.
He like kind of pats Brandy on the arm and asks, because if someone else has seen it, then maybe we can bring it up more easily.
I guess.
Draga goes back to cleaning her table, and it's very obvious now. She's trying to put all of the leftovers into like a little bundle.
Theo will go back to walking. I guess we could go to the cabin first, but just maybe don't go too far. Avayath?
Of course, I'll just patrol around the cabin.
Sure. Sure.
They get into the cabin, and Brandy will sit down in chair. Question mark? Do they have chairs?
In the cabins, no. It's just your beds in the closet.
Sits on floor.
Brandy, you can. There are beds. You can sit on your
We
bed.
ain't gonna be here I don't want to get too comfy. We ain't gonna be here very long if we're gonna talk in essence.
Oh, I guess. Then I'll stand.
All right.
Well, he kind of looks out the window to see Avayath and Shui to see if they're close or what.
You would be able to see Avayath's big-ass body out the window. He's not far away.
Just this looming shadow.
You look out the window and you're like, man, it got really dark out, and then you realize it's just Avayath's entire body.
Brandy is back.
I'd say you can see there a little bit farther off.
Okay, so he looks back to Brandy. He's like, I just didn't want to, well, I don't know if embarrass you, but you kind of, I just, wanted to talk to you alone for a minute.
About what?
Well, I looked up in the library, actually, I guess I could start off with the, potions, I guess you could call them, that we were given. So the one that you didn't drink, the one that I took from you, is, really expensive, I guess. So that's something.
Well, it's yours now. You can, spend that how you want, yeah? Lucky you. He, like, smiles.
No. I don't know if... while it is supposed to heal you very well, it's just very difficult to get is why it's so expensive. It's actually obtained by, the dangerous waters, Wicklow Ocean. Apparently, the, god that it's, obtained from is, on that ocean, and apparently people can go get it from there and stuff. So, expensive. And then the one that you actually drank, he starts to look nervous. He's actually been pacing a little as he's been talking. It was obtained from the god Verada on the shores of those waters. It's good, but also bad. Apparently it has some side effects. It's addictive. So...
I know Peter warned us about a couple of the side effects.
Yeah, but I guess seeing it in writing made me especially worried.
I get you.
Yeah, I guess just if they give you more, please be careful.
Yeah, he'll pull the bottle out and be like, I'm not super keen on drinking all this, but I don't want to get...
You might become keen on it if you drink more.
Yeah, that's a worry, but I do definitely not want to get any y'all into any sort of trouble just because I'm being... if I get addicted, I get addicted. That's on me. It's better than y'all getting the short end of the stick because of it.
Theo, makes a face of, I don't like that. But it still affects you.
I can deal with it. It ain't a big deal.
Well, I think it's a big deal. As he, paces some more.
Well, I think it's a bigger deal if it affects everyone else around me.
There was that. I also tried to look up the creature. Didn't really get anything. It might be a monstrosity. Might not be. Nothing really solid. And then he looks at Brandy for a second, and then he sort of, I guess, sits in front of him. And is like, okay, so the big part. I hope you don't mind, but, you have told me before how you don't remember much from before I met you, right?
He hesitantly nods.
Right, so I thought I would try to help you out by, I guess, looking some things up. Hope you're not mad or anything.
I kill him. No.
I looked up, because you have, he kind of where's Brandy's tail?
On the back of him.
Sticking out his butt?
Yeah, sticking out
No,
his butt. Yeah, no.
Where is it resting?
Probably crawled around him.
Okay. He kind of points it out and sort of I guess, brushes on the markings, I guess. And he's like, I looked up, they, you saw them glow, right?
Tail twitches.
I don't remember seeing him glow, no.
Well, they did,
Oh.
glow. Yeah. So...
Tail starts to, wag nervously.
Don't worry, it's fine. He kinda, pats him. And then he's like, it's okay. I'm sure. Oh, well, he remembers the information he got.
I'm sure it's
otherwise.
fine.
Yeah. Well, I did look it up. And it did seem like, because I looked up enchanted tattoos. Because it seemed like enchanted tattoos might glow. So logically, that's what I looked up. And I didn't find that they were enchanted per se, but they seemed to be... Well, you mentioned before when I pointed out Peter's symbol being an entrapment symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Something in your mind must have reminded you of being trapped.
Looks very grim.
Theo also starts to look sad. So, the tattoos, the best that I could find, he kind of gets out his notes and he's like, they seemed to be the ones with black ink anyway. Entrapment tattoos? Restraining tattoos, so he kind of like just again starts looking more sad as well. He's like, I don't know if you remember anything, any reason you have them.
Restraining tattoos, huh?
The origins seem to be, at least where this is practiced, Winaria. Have you been there?
He like hesitantly nods.
So, you remember having been there then?
It sounds familiar, yeah. I don't know that I've been specifically there. Not recently, at least. But yeah, that's... sounds a little familiar, yeah.
Well, yeah, that was the information I obtained. Did it help at all?
Kind of like looks at his hands and looks at the bandages on his arm and like unwraps them to look at the tattoos underneath. I was like,
I mean, that at least gives some context, yeah. I think it helps. I don't know what it helps with yet, but yeah, that's some good info to know.
Theo will also like take Brandy's arm kind of and look at the tattoos on it. And just sadly, he's just kind of like, aw, like look at all these. So he's just sad about it, and kind of, I guess, petting his arm. And he's like, well,
looks away embarrassed.
Now you know, that they're, restraining tattoos, and they glow sometimes for some reason. I tried to look up why they might glow, but it didn't seem connected, or there wasn't really any tattoos that, I guess, in the book that I looked up would glow like that.
That's strange.
Well, it's something. We'll keep working on your past, okay?
Yeah.
Kind of gives a very hesitant nod.
And we'll do it slowly.
Yeah, I think that'd be for the best.
Theo nod. And then he kind of like pats his shoulder and is like, okay, well, that was all I wanted to talk about alone. So, can probably tell the others they could come in now.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm gonna quickly take out the God's Brandy before we do anything else and take a sip.
Okay, I want you to roll a wisdom save.
Yay! My favorite thing.
Theo watches anxiously.
That's an 11.
You take a pretty long sip of that.
Brandy, I just said to be careful with that.
No, it's fine.
Brandy, please.
No, he doesn't actually do that. But yeah, he sips and he's like, oh shit. Yeah, sorry, I fucking completely slipped my mind.
Yeah, be careful.
Right.
Please.
He was drinking it, no kidding.
Yeah, right. Oh shit. Right, be careful.
But yeah. So Theo will all go to the door and sort of like wave over Avayath and Shui.
So I like to imagine as soon as Theo opens the door, Avayath is singing a really dumb song.
What is
He's singing like, I don't know, I don't care, I just wanna see a bear. And he just like keeps singing that.
Shui's like, I don't know, he picked up some rocks like dragon and is like clanking them together. He's a bard, he can make it work.
They're fucking freestyling
I
out
don't know,
here.
I don't care. I just wanna see a bear.
Oh no!
So Theo opens the door to this,
And then the ground starts to shake and you hear roar.
Theo will look back at Brandy and kind of with like a.
Yeah, damn
It's
it.
both like a humored look and also like a God, why are they like bringing this upon us? So it's like, this is cute, but
I'm gonna have to do like a little thing before we fucking go to bed tonight. God damn it. Alright.
what are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
I will note, as you guys are kind of heading back into the cabin for the evening, Avayath and Shui, since you are probably, I would assume, the last ones going in, both of you can roll perception checks.
14. Man, Avayath is just not in this game today.
23.
Yeah, so Avayath doesn't notice this, but Shui, I'll say you're tailing behind as everyone's going in. You take a minute to like set your rocks down. You're like, oh, Drago wouldn't want me to disrespect these. No, I don't know if you care. But anyway, you notice as you start to head into the cabin, you see Wynn and Peter coming around the back side of Peter's cabin. And Peter looks kind of like very tired, I would say. At one point, actually, you see him kind of like lean against the wall of the cabin to like take a moment, is like breathing heavily. And Wynn puts a hand on his shoulder again, and they seem to be talking for a moment before Peter nods and like starts to move forward again. And then they go inside the cabin.
So Shui saw that, and he's probably thinking like, wow, they must have had some walk. And he'll go inside, following after Avayath.
I want to do a thing before we go to bed. So, as a part of my background, I have a fun piece of equipment called a Monster Hunter's Pack. And in said equipment is what is described as a pound of holy water. So Brandy is gonna sprinkle that around the perimeter of the house. Like, he doesn't know if it's really gonna do anything, but he just has, since he has it anyway, he like goes around and like takes a few drops and like just sprinkles it around the ground. Probably takes good care to wipe down like the mirrors with it, or not the mirrors, the windows with it, since it did like touch the window last time. So he makes sure like to cover the windows for sure. Just does that before heading inside.
Okay, so you do that. You go ahead and you sprinkle your holy water around and put it on the windows and things like that. Just note that you've used all of your holy water to do that. And then after laying down a pretty good amount, you head back inside the cabin. And all of you wind down for the evening, hoping that it will be a restful and undisturbed night.
I keep calling out your name, so you know I'm still here to wipe away your tears. If we fall, at least we're falling as one in the end.